Good morning children. Myself Aparna Shrivastava and I am your English teacher.
Today we are going to start with English literature, lesson number 1, Toasted English, which was written by R.K. Narayan. Children, R.K. Narayan was born in 1906. His father was headmaster and so his some schooling done at that school. He worked as reporter at Madras. He was awarded by A.C. Benson Medal and also awarded as Padma Vibhushan. He died in 2001, Madras. Toasted English is a well-known essay by R.K. Narayan. He is one of the best Indian novelists in English. He has published more than 10 novels and short stories. His work have been translated into many Indian and European languages. His famous work include Swami and Friends, The Bachelors of Arts, The English Teacher, The Guide, The Man-Eater of Malgudi, The Vendor of Sweets, A Tiger of Malgudi, Mr. Sampath, The Printer of Malgudi, The Financial Expert, The Dark Room, and Waiting for the Mahatma. Now children, about this lesson. See, Toasted English is a research paper written by R.K. Narayan. Means that's not a story. It's a research paper. R.K. Narayan has done a research on the language English and on which he has written this Toasted English. A research paper he has done. It is about the use of English in different content. It tells us that Americans were also tired of British people. They eliminated everything related to the British as soon as they can. They started using passive voice to change their language. Likewise, author says that Indians should have their own English language which will show their touch. Sooner or later, they will develop their own English. Now children, before we start the lesson, the summary of this lesson. I just want to tell you the summary in short to you all, okay? Narayan is known for his simple language and realistic characters. Toasted English is a half humorous, half serious essay about how the same language, English, differs from one country to another. In the essay, the difference between American and British English has been shown in an amusing way. The author tells that, like Indians, Americans also drove the British out of their country but adopted English. The American used the English language in an easy way and left the use of passive voice. They also gave up formalism and used certain keywords for their convenience. This process of modifying English is called toasting. For example, instead of trespassing prohibited, they say newly planted, don't walk on the notice board. The new words became very handy because they could used for multiple meanings. Okay, yes, yeah are more commonly used expressions. Narayan mentioned the example of the word check, which may safely be labeled the American national expression. While the British uses this word according to the definitions, the American uses it anywhere. I will check means I will find out, examine, verify. Your check means your ticket, token. Check girl is one who takes care of your coat, umbrella or anything you have. Further, R.K. Narayan discussed the bazaar status of English. It is used in a polite way in London. The conductor will never say ticket, ticket on a London bus, but simply go near the passenger and say thank you on receiving the fare and issuing the ticket also. We have no need to use yes sir, yes dear with the word yes. The words yes, okay or are self-sufficient words which needs no suffix to show any specific respect. Ya seals the sentence without any further discussion to continue the dialogue or conversation. Ya is spoken in a short base of the tongue grunt. R.K. Narayan feels that the time has come when English should come out in the open in dusty streets and become the language of common man. Like Americans, it should also adopt according to the Indian needs and atmosphere. He does not want the mongrelization of English. That means mixing with the another language. He don't want that. Grammatical rules should have remained the same. Like toasted English, Indians should develop a Bharat brand of English. One should not have to think before speaking. The author wants that Indian English should have its own identity, its Swadeshi stamp. It should be unique and distinct than the present English. So, this is the summary of your chapter, children, of your lesson. Okay, let's move ahead. Now, here I am having the lesson number 1. Yes, children, now I am going to read and explain the chapter. You are supposed to listen it carefully. All languages go through a process of development and change. R.K. Narayan traced the evolution of American English in his simple yet witty style. That means that all the language, whether we are talking about the Hindi, English, Sanskrit or any other language, all the languages are going through a process of development. Means day by day they are changing. Okay, there is a process of development in all the languages. So same thing R.K. Narayan has traced and he has written in this Toasted English, and in this particular lesson he is talking about the English in a simple way, but of course in a witty style. In American restaurant they call for toasted English, referring to English muffins which, though being made in America, now retain English as a sort of concession to their origins. So here R.K. Narayan started with a scene of American restaurant where usually people call for toasted English. That means when they want the English muffins, instead of calling muffins, what they are saying, toasted English. So that's as the time changes, they change the way how they were speaking. Instead of muffins, they started speaking toasted now. Though that muffins are made in America only, means originated from there only, but then as the time passes, they have changed the name. Instead of muffins, now they started using toasted. The same may be said for the American language too. They too went through the phase of throwing out the British but retaining their language and letting it flourish on American soil. Like in India, what happened in India? That Britishers were ruled over us and we have struggled very hard to throw them out from our country. Similar way in the American also struggled very hard to throw the Britishers. But then after throwing them, what they want? They want to flourish their own language. See children, what's the difference here? Throughout the lesson, the R.K. Narayan raised one difference between the British English and the American English. The difference is that when we are talking about British English, those British people used to speak in a very proper way. They use proper words, proper grammar. Their pronunciation was very, very good. But now if we are talking about the Americans, so they have changed many things as per their convenience. They are using the words as per their convenience. They are not going and seeing the dictionary again and again. Instead of that, they started speaking the words wherever they are finding that the word should be fitted, in that way. So that's what they are trying to say. He's trying to say here that Americans too struggled hard to throw out the Britishers, and then after that they have done a lot of changes in the English language. Resultant language is somewhat different from the British counterpart. So they have done a lot of work to retaining their own language, to let it flourish on the American soil. They have worked hard for that, and they have changed many things. And at the difference of that, what happened, the result of that now what English they are speaking, that is completely different from the English of the Britishers. It may be said to have gone through a process of toasting, and that is why R.K. Narayan used this word toasting. That toasting is what? Toasting is what made brown and crunchy by heating. That's what the toasted. So R.K. Narayan used this word because he wanted to say that now English is more crunchy, you can say. Now we are not following the rules, means Americans are not following any rules of the grammars and any way of the definitions of the words or meaning of the words. They are using as they want. So they made it more toasted, made it more crunchy. One noticeable result of this toasting is that much of the formalism surrounding the use of English has been abundant. Formalism means rules of proper behavior. So what's happened, because now the English is changing every now and then in America. So now the people, what English they are speaking, that is not the English, that English is not having so many rules. In America, they have freed the language from the stifling tyranny of passive voice. Means that, children, that in America they made their language free from the stifling, means suffocated. Suffocated tyranny means rules. Okay, suffocating rules of the passive voice, where we would say ceremoniously trespassing prohibited. If I ask you the meaning of trespassing prohibited, then you might have to search in the dictionary. So here R.K. Narayan wanted to tell us this thing only, that instead of using such sorts of difficult words like trespassing prohibited, their signboards, as I notice in the park of Berkeley, merely says newly planted don't walk, or absolutely no parking, leaves no room for speculation, and no motorists need spend too much time peering out and studying the notice. So what he means, what he's trying to tell us, he's trying to tell us that instead of using such a difficult words like trespassing, prohibiting, actually children, meaning of this word is that you cannot go in and come out. That is the actual meaning of trespassing, prohibited. Coming in and going out is not allowed. So instead of using such sorts of word, now in the boards everywhere, the notice board or everywhere in the America, now you will find the whatever the instructions are given to the people, they are given in a normal language, in an easy language, like newly planted don't walk, or absolutely no parking. That's very easy for us to understand. It's a routine language, so we can understand these things very easily. So with all these things, what is happening now, it is very easy for the motorist, the person who is driving a car, so very easy for them to just have a look on these notice board, and immediately they understood. So they are not supposed to stop the car and then finding in the dictionary what's the meaning of that. Instead of that, they just have a look and then they understood, okay, what this notice board means, and then they continue with their work. In a similar situation, now here he is talking about the India now. In a similar situation, our authorities are likely to plant a 29 inscription on the landscape to to say under municipal act so and so this area has been reserved, etc., etc. That means what is happening in India? See, in foreign countries, so they said foreign countries mean he said just now about the America that during the old time when the Britishers was there, that time all the languages were very official language people used. They are very difficult, hard words are there. But then as the time changing, the American people, they started using the routine words, easy language. They have translated everything into the journal language. Similar way, if we are talking about the India and any such thing is there in India, so then we might have a 20 lines inscription on the landscape, and here in so many things are written on that notice board, like under municipal act so and so this area has been reserved, etc., etc., and any vehicle station thereon will be deemed to have contravened subsection so and so of the Motor Vehicles Act, etc., etc. This is 20 line inscription you will find in India. But then see children, we are not here R.K. Narayan, he died in 2001. So when he has written this, when he has done this survey, that time he was talking about the olden India. Nowadays, so we are also using very easy language everywhere on the notice boards and wherever you on the instructions board, everywhere the easy language is there. But here he is talking about the olden time when big articles people used to write, so many lines people used to write on the notice board, then you have to stand there, wait there, then give a time to yourself to read out everything. So that's what he is comparing, that in India that time 20 lines were written on the notice board, but in America simple one line I saw on many American office door, just do not enter. So that's what, instead of writing so many things, just few words they are writing. The traffic signs at pedestrian crossing never mince words, they just say go or wait in the America. Now he is somewhere, he is up till now, so he has appreciated that what the American made their English language very easy as per the convenience of the normal people. That's what he has compared it with the Britishers, with the British language, that during the time of the Britishers or the British people used to have a proper English, but then now the time changes and we are using the easy languages. But then he's comparing, as well as he's comparing the Indian and American English also. Like here he is talking about that in India we will have a 20 lines on the notice board, everything written. So instead of that, American, they are writing just 2-3 words only. In whether it's a traffic signs or whether it's any of the notice board, things are written in a short form there. In a Hollywood studio, I was rather startled to read Mark Stevens keep out. Now he is talking about the Hollywood, where he has read this line everywhere, Mark Stevens keep out. Mark Stevens is a busy television personality who does not like to be disturbed by visitors. Incidentally, it left me wondering why, if Mr. Stevens did not like interruptions, he announced his name at all the door. But it is one of the minor mysteries that make travel through that country so engrossing. So here he is talking about, like, he is little bit surprised while such sorts of things also. When he saw that Mark Stevens keep out written on the Bollywood studios door, everywhere it is written, and he knows that he is a busy television personality, then why he told people to write his name on every door? So there might be any reason, but of course R.K. Narayan was not able to understand that what was the reason behind this. So that was still a mystery for him, that why it was written on the doors of the Hollywood studios. The toasting of English has been achieved through other means also. Now up till now, he is appreciating American people. Now he is talking about that there is one more meaning. Of course, one thing is that when he said toasted English means English is changed, English is The level of English brought it down to the level of the normal citizens, the commoners, so that everyone can speak it. है ना? So that's what one place he said that now he's changing. Now he's talking about something else again. The toasted of English has been achieved through the other means also. Americans have evolved certain basic keywords which may be used anywhere, anyhow. Words which have universal multi-purpose use. Now here he is talking about some words which are universally used by the Americans, multi-purpose. They are using those words multi-purposely. I may make my point clear if I mention the example of the word check. Now here he is giving us the example of word check, which may safely be labeled by American national expression. Now this word check, now it is very very famous in America that people have labeled this word as American national expression. That means all the people, everyone, anywhere, anyhow, they are using this word check. While the British usage confines it to its bare dictionary definitions. When the British peoples were there, they used to use this word check with its dictionary meaning only. Whatever the meaning of word check is there in the dictionary, they are using this word accordingly. The American use it anywhere, but now American are using this word anywhere. This expression being so devised. Children, the meaning of this word devised is to invent a new way of doing something. Okay. So the expression being so devised that one may blindly utter it, still find it appropriate for the occasion. Like people are without knowing the meaning, or you can say they are using it in a new way, this word check, and they are speaking this word in any of the occasion. I will check means I will find out. This to we all know. We are also speaking I will check. This means I will find out, I will investigate, examine, scrutinize. Scrutinize is also the synonym of examine only. Verify or probe. Your check means your ticket, token, or whatever you may have to produce. That means if the people are going to any of the movie or any of the theater, then the one who is checking the tickets, what he is asking? Your check. Instead of saying your ticket, he is asking what? Your check. Your check means your ticket, your token. Check room is where you leave your possession for a while. Now again a different meaning of check. Check room means what? That where we are leaving, where they are, they are American peoples, where they are leaving their possession for a while. Possession means that the things what they are having, their bag, their luggages, that's the possession. Check girl is one who takes care of your coat, umbrella, or anything else you may. That's the check girl. Leave in custody. Okay. Check in and check out. This to we all also know nowadays, children. But we should never forget that R.K. Narayan might have written this many years back. That time English is not so much common in India. Now when I'm reading all these words in this lesson, then all of you knows the meaning of these words. But then we should not forget that this is the lesson written by R.K. Narayan, who might have written many years back this lesson, and that is why he was so much surprised with the usage of these words. Check in and check out means one's arrival in hotel or the departure from there. And there are scores of other incidental use of words also, not only these. In spite of these places, other places also American people use this word check very frequently. If you ever heard from a noun or a verb, you may safely utter the word check and feel confident that it will fit in. So he is saying that now it's for us, those who are reading this, because Americans are using this word check anywhere, so we can also use. We should always feel confident to use this word check because this word can fit anywhere. Fabulous is another word that is used in that country freely. Now, here he has pointed out one more word, that is the fabulous. Without much premeditation. Premeditation means without thinking, without prior thinking. Of course, everyone knows that fabulous means. We all know what is the meaning of fabulous. But American usage has enlarged its sense. Means they are having something else. They have increased, they have enlarged its sense. Though we are using that fabulous is what? Is a very positive comment. When we are giving, when something is very good, very excellent, then we are saying fabulous. I heard a lady in Wisconsin declare, "Oh, those cats of mine are fabulous," meaning that they were eccentric, means strange. So instead of using something for a positive comment, she has used this word fabulous for the strange. "Oh, so and so, he is fabulous," may mean anything from a sincere compliment to an insinuation that so and so display a mild form of charming lunacy. Means that they are using this word fabulous for what? Not only for the positive comment, they are using for a charming but any stupid behavior, any sorts of strange behavior, any sorts of stupid behavior, any sorts of unpleasant things. But of course, when the thing is charming or cute, so they are using this word fabulous. Next, okay. Okay or okay is another well-known example. It is the easiest sound that ever emanated from the human vocal cord. So okay is the easiest sound that emanated, means come out from the human vocal cord. Everyone knows how comprehensive its sense can be. We all know what is the meaning of okay. When we are using this word okay, okay is a self-sufficient word. When we are saying okay, that means we are agree what the other person is speaking to us. We are agree to that. We are ready to do whatever he is saying. That's why we are using this word okay. Okay is a self-sufficient word which needs no suffix to indicate any special respect for the listener. It can stand by itself without sir to conclude the sentence. There is no need of saying okay sir, or the listener has to say yes okay sir, okay ma'am. There is no need, because okay is having a complete sense in itself only. It can stand by itself without a sir to conclude the sentence. In this respect, it is like yeah, which seals off a sense without further ado. Yes sir or yes darling is conceivable, but yes, yeah sir, yeah darling is unthinkable. So here he is saying that though okay is a word which is a self-sufficient word, there is no need of any sorts of suffix along with that, but then too American people are using somewhere yes sir, yes ma'am, okay sir, okay ma'am, then too okay, it is okay for us. But then using sir or ma'am or dear with yeah sir, yeah ma'am, that's something which is unthinkable. Yeah is uttered in a short base of the tongue grunt, which almost snap any further continuation of a sentence. Yes involves times as a sibilant could be prolonged. So when we are saying yes, so why the Americans are not using yes? Because for speaking yes, they have to speak a sibilant sound made in a speech such as S and Z in the English word, that is sip or zip. That's a yes is a little bit long. That's why they are not using this prolonged word. So instead of that, they are using what? Yeah. That's for their convenience. So instead of saying okay, yes, what they are using nowadays? Yeah. Okay. Now move to the next. The refinements of the usage in countries where English has a bizarre status are worth a study. Bizarre status means that how the people are using English in a common way, है ना? In a public place. That it means. On a London bus, you will never hear the conductor cries ticket ticket. He approaches the passenger and say thank you, and on receiving the fare say again thank you. So that means they are more polite when they are speaking English on the public places. These people are very very polite as compared to the any other. They are saying thank you while receiving the fare, and when they are giving the ticket, that time also they are saying thank you. I find out that one could calculate the number of passenger in a bus by halving the total number of thanks heard. Means if you are sitting in a bus in London, then what will, while hearing this thank you in the bus, you can make out, if you are counting the thanks, then you can make out that what is the total number of passengers sitting in the bus. So they are very very polite in the public places. In any Western country, if a receptionist asks, "Can I help you?" it really means, "Have you any business here? If so, state it." Children, nowadays we know the meaning of all these things, है ना? Because we are using English in our journal language nowadays. But then R.K. Narayan written it many years back. That is why he is explaining everything, all the terms he is explaining to us. So he is talking about here the Western countries where the receptionists are asking, when they are asking, "Can I help you?" So what they really mean? They mean, "Have you any business here? If so, state it." That means for what work you are coming here, you came here, you tell us. Or it may mean, "Evidently you have wandered off into a wrong place, go away. And if you don't have any work here, then you please go away from here." But instead of speaking all so many things, instead that the receptionist asking to any of the American or to in any of the Western countries, instead of asking that, "Have you any business here? If so, stated." Instead of speaking all these things, in short, what they are saying, "Can I help you?" So, "Can I help you" means what? Means this only. A man who wants to pass you always say, "Excuse me," while he may with all justice burst out, "What do you mean by standing there gaping at the world while you block everybody's passage? Stand aside, man." Now we can understand this thing, because nowadays, see what happened, when we are using this word "excuse me," when someone is standing on our way and we wanted to go, but then the person is not allowing us to go. So that's actually that particular moment we are very very angry. We wanted to tell him, "Why you are standing in between? Better that you should stand one side." That we wanted to tell. But instead of speaking all such things, there is a simple word for that. That's "excuse me." Excuse me means that you moved out, stand one side because I have to pass from here. Okay, that it means. So here he is talking about, R.K. Narayan is talking about the short forms. Instead of speaking long sentences, but what the Western countries have done, they have changed their language, they have cut short their language and they have brought new words, like short forms, like "Can I help you?" "Excuse me," all such kinds of words. When you send your card in the bus, in the busy man's secretary appears and whispers in your ear, "Would you like to wait?" When you go to any of the office to meet any of the busy person, so when you went there, usually the secretary of that busy man comes to you and you usually gives your card to that secretary, and then secretary asks you, "Would you like to wait?" Actually, "would you like to wait" means that "Sir is very busy right now, you need to wait, so are you ready to wait?" That actually it means. But then instead of speaking so many things, a very few words, "Would you like to wait?" Though the tone is one of the consultation, You have really no choice in matter. The thing to do is not to answer the question but say thanks and look for a comfortable seat in the waiting room, although you may feel like saying no, I would not like to wait, I have other things to do. So here he is saying that when the secretary asks you, would you like to wait, that actually we really wanted to tell to the secretary, no, I wouldn't like to wait, I have other things to do, I have other work to do, so I just want to meet your boss soon. But then instead of speaking all these things, we just simply say thanks, and then we look for a comfortable seat in that particular area, and then in that waiting room, and then we seat it over there. The time has come for us to consider seriously the question of a Bharat brand of English. As I have said in my essay on English in India, so far English has had a comparatively confined existence in our country, chiefly in the halls of learning, justice, or admiration. Now the time is ripe for it to come to the dusty street. Now R.K. Narayan is talking about the olden time, when an olden time English in India, that time he is talking about. And in olden time, children, the highly educated people or the very rich people, they are only used to speak English. Normal citizens, common people, they never used to speak in English. They usually speak in Hindi only. So he is talking about that time period, that now the time comes. Now all the people have learned the English very well, and he just wanted to see, he was having a dream, he wanted to see that the English should come on the dusty street. So here he mean to say dusty street means to the level of the common people. That commonly when the people are walking on the street, they keep on speaking in English. That he wants. That was his dream. That English, that in India, all the commoners, Indian, common people, normal citizens, they will speak in English. That was his dream. Marketplace and under the banyan tree. Everywhere. Whether it's a dusty street, whether it's a marketplace, whether under the banyan tree. Under the banyan tree means what? In the villages also. So that dream he was having during that time. Of course, if we talk about nowadays, so nowadays it's like that only, that all around in India, about 80% of people used to speak very well in English. That's become our first language now. And second language is our Hindi nowadays. Okay, that's what. English must adopted the complexions of our life and assimilate its idioms. It may not suggesting here a mongrelization of the language. So he is not suggesting that the English should mix with any other language. If we are speaking English, then we should able to speak throughout in English. If we are speaking in Hindi, then we should able to speak throughout in Hindi. So that's he said that he is not suggesting that mixed English with any other local language. He is saying that he want that Indian people should able to speak throughout in English. I am not recommending that we should go back to the days when we heard, particularly in the railways, where are you going, man? So where are you going? Actually, see the spelling also. This is something wrong. So he said, I don't want that the Indian people should use such kind of English. That where are you going, man? That also he don't want. Bharat English will respect the rules of laws and maintain the dignity of grammar. That's what, children, why we are teaching you grammar. That is why grammar is very, very important in our teachings. In your learning, grammar is very, very important. Why? So we should able to know, or we should aware with all the rules of the grammar, and we should able to learn a proper English. And when we are speaking, we will speak proper in English, but still have a Swadeshi stamp about it, unmistakably, like Madras handloom, check shirt, or Tirupati doll. How it can be achieved is a question for practical man to tackle. Now that was his dream, and now if he was alive, so he might able to see that his dream is fulfilled now. Almost full India 80% of Indian used to speak in English, and they used to speak very well in English. And children, Indian English, the English what Indian people used to speak, that is far better than the American peoples, because American peoples are not having any idea about the grammars, about the spellings. But then if we talk about the Indians, then Indians are having very strong grammar background. That is why when we are speaking far better than any of the Western countries. Okay, that's what. And moreover, we are having an impact of British English in India. That is why when we are speaking, so somewhere because Britishers were there in India more than 100 of years, है so that is why when we are speaking, we are having a touch of British English in our English. Okay, so this is all your lesson, children. I hope you understood. Okay, see, these are the new words. That's the word meaning, children, which you have to learn. You need not to write these word meanings anywhere in your classwork copies, because this is already written in your book. So you need to learn all these word meanings. Here also you can see. Then those who are not having the book, for them I have given the question answers. I have clicked the picture of my book and I have added here the question answers also. So you can see in this video your question number A, that is the answer the following questions. Then question number B, explain these lines with reference to the context. Okay, then think and answer. And children, you will get the PDF of all these questions and answers along with this video. Means I'm going to upload the PDF of all the question answers along with this video. You have to write all the question and answers in your classwork copy. For classwork copy, as I have told you before also, that you have to use register. Register means your long copy of 80 to 200 pages. See, 100 to 200 pages more or less doesn't matter. Okay, then maintain your classwork copy on regular basis. Okay, by mistake CCW written, है ना? So that don't get confused, it's just a classwork copy. Maintain your classwork copy on regular basis, because you know that very well, here in the high school you are getting the marks on the basis of your classwork copy. Okay, so that's all for today, children. Stay home, stay safe, all of you. Okay, have a good day, everyone.